Hey everyone, and welcome to Quickscope podcast, brought to you by Higher Passion Entertainment. We are your hosts, Erik and Serg, and we're here to talk about our passion, which is video games. It's been a minute. How you been, Serg? How's your Thanksgiving?
Hey, good, man. How about you?
Good?
Everything been good? It was good, man. Just stuffed,
Yeah, man.
ready for Christmas.
Yeah, I got some gaming in during Thanksgiving. I think that's almost like a tradition for me too. Like get to play games with friends and family, and definitely like my sister was in town, so we got to play some co-op couch games. So yeah, it's fun.
That's,
It's fun getting to play that stuff and hang out with family again. So yeah. Um, so for this podcast, we're actually going to talk about the Game Awards. Before we get into the nominees for the Game Awards, which is going to be here in a few days, the actual awards, I wanted to talk about some bit of news that actually came out today, and I know you might want to get into this as well, Serge.
yeah.
So PlayStation actually, it's not even an announcement. It got leaked that they're coming out next spring with a competitor for Xbox's Game Pass. And the fact that they're doing that, I mean, we always talked about on this podcast how important that Game Pass is and how it's basically the Netflix of gaming, and everyone's been getting it, and it's been pulling people away from PlayStation to go to Xbox. But now it seems like they kind of saw what it's been doing to them, and I mean, in all honesty, it's kind of insane that they're doing this. So the actual pass itself is gonna take the PS Plus, which is you need PS Plus so you can play online against other players, so you can play multiplayer games online. You need PS Plus, and they're gonna combine that with PS Now, which is their version of game streaming for a bunch of different games. Mostly older games are on PS Now, but that's kind of what they were doing to be able to play on on PC as well. So what they're doing is they're combining those, and they're gonna make three different tiers. And the three tiers is the first tier is just your typical like PS Plus, what it is now, and with a couple more free game, not free. I mean you're paying for it. A couple more games thrown in there. There's a second tier which is gonna include like all PS4 and PS5 games, and the third tier is going to include PS3, PS2, PS1, and PSP games. So I think this is pretty crazy. I want to get your thoughts on it. What do you think?
Yeah, man. You told me just a little while ago now. I was like, man, someone's brain just shut out. Like, just suddenly had like, ding, ding, ding. This is the thing we have to do. Like, come on. How long have we been telling them that they need to compete against the Xbox with this?
Exactly.
Um, they're so focused on sometimes their single player exclusives, and they're focused on all these things when all they have to do is release their games that they've had released for years and put them on a a Game Pass competitor, and finally they did it, or they're going to do it. I don't know if they can keep up. I don't know if it's too late because Xbox Game Pass is it's just it changed the industry, at least for gaming. People have been kind of looking for some kind of subscription service like that. It sucks that it's just Xbox games. That it makes it more difficult, obviously, to game. But it's just I don't know. It was a long time coming, and we'll see what they could do if they have the games that can keep up with Xboxes. Xbox just for some reason, man, there's just never ending games on Game Pass. You can always, always, always find a game on there. And I don't know if that's the same way with PS. We'll see. It's going to be a lot of single player games, at least I think. But I don't know. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great thing to have. Honestly, I think
Yeah,
it's the more competition, the better. We've always said that on this
exactly.
podcast.
Yeah,
And
always.
but at the same time, it's like they're not gonna try something new. They're gonna try something that's already been done. Like Xbox has
Yeah.
already been doing this. So
But they had to compete in some way because as much as everyone's always saying PS is winning, PS is winning, are they really? Yeah, they're selling more consoles, but what's a console to someone paying you $15 a month? For forever. Like,
yeah,
what do you like? It's just,
yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah, I mean, all these services are. I mean, it's the way to go. It really makes perfect
Yeah,
sense. So, I mean, we're gonna hear more. So, like I said, it was leaked. and I'm excited to hear more. I want to know where this is going, especially myself as like a PlayStation player. Like I play Xbox and PlayStation, but I mean most of the stuff I own is like PlayStation stuff. So I really
Yeah.
like PlayStation. It was my go-to console, and yeah, so it's been really cool to see people talk about it, and maybe now we'll actually get some more PS5s in rotation so people can purchase them, right?
I don't know how you're a year and a half out of your release. I don't know how long it's been. At least a year, I think, right?
Yeah.
Um, and there's still people who can't get their hands, like, that just doesn't make sense. Why are you limiting? They're trying to become the supreme of consoles or what? I
This is a
don't know.
people. Yeah.
I don't know. I
I'm sure it
guess.
has something to do with the shortages that have been happening everywhere,
Yeah, but I mean, come on.
right?
Pretty sure you could pay. You could pay a pretty penny to get them. I don't know. I don't think that a year is a long time, at least in my eyes,
Yeah,
for a console.
I think that's fair. Yeah, especially for console. I think that's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into some of these nominees for the Game Awards. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually start at the bottom of the list. We're gonna end with the Game of the Year, and at the very end of the list, usually you get a lot of the esports stuff.
Yeah.
So there's esports events of the year, esports coach, esports team. Um, what I've found in esports is you kind of most people I talk to just watch like one or two different leagues or
Yeah.
events. I don't know anyone that actually watches all of them. And then like I
Yeah.
myself don't. So I don't really feel like we can touch on a lot of those athletes and teams. I mean, obviously they're all good. They've but it's almost like I hear it in like sports as well when you're comparing like a football coach to a basketball coach. It's hard to pick the coach of the year. But
Yeah.
even then, like I don't feel like I can pick one, but at the same time, is like check them out because they're all up there for a reason.
Yeah. Unless it's your full time job to watch gaming, you're probably not watching that much gaming because it's too much time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did want to talk about the best esports game of the year. So specifically esports game. There's a
Yeah.
couple here. There's Call of Duty. There's CS:GO, Dota 2, League of Legends, and Valorant. This list looks familiar. It looks like all the same ones from last year.
It's probably the worst year of esports I think there has ever been. I would have to say. I mean,
Yeah, there's nothing new. There really isn't.
Valorant, it's good, but it's not great. League has been there for 10 years, like 10 years in a row. I
Yeah.
think maybe even 20 years, whatever. I don't know how long. But CS:GO, man, what the heck? I don't
I
know.
think League might get the edge just because of
Guys,
Arcane, because of the show.
yeah,
Like I've
I
been seeing so many people online like just start
yeah,
saying, "Hey, I'm gonna start watching people stream this game, or I'm gonna try to play this game, just because of the show." And I mean that's great and all, but at the same time, it's it might skew the viewing numbers to one game.
yeah,
Even then, I still think League of Legends has been doing great, and they have over 100 characters at this point that you can choose from,
yeah,
and I mean all the lore behind it is really cool. I think out of the all the esports games, I think League of Legends is the most like complete game in my opinion.
yeah.
It has its own universe, it's well established, and it has like comic books and all this stuff. And I know Dota has that as well, and obviously Valorant is part of League of Legends, is in the same universe. So, but even then, I still, me personally, I think League of Legends is the best, like competitive wise. When I'm playing CS:GO, yes, it is competitive. But I feel like League of Legends just takes way more strategy and less
Yeah.
like mechanical movement to play those games. And when I think about like competition, I tend to think more about strategy than just straight talent.
Yeah. I agree. League is probably League or Valorant. It's probably gonna be League though. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I think those are the two best for sure in that list.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Next one is best sports slash racing game. They always combine these two, just because I mean, It's kind of hard to create
Not enough of
their
each.
own genres. Yeah.
They have to put it in there. Yeah.
So they have F1 2021, FIFA 2022, Hot Wheels Unleashed, Forza Horizon 5, and Riders Republic. I wanted to give a shout out to Hot Wheels for making it to this list. I actually like this game. I think
Okay.
as a racing game, it's really cool because my son, he plays with Hot Wheels, so I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
getting this game might be kind of fun. And then I started playing the game, and this game is actually really good. It's actually a really cool racing game. Uh, so I'm really happy to see them on this list, but I don't think it comes even close to Forza.
Yeah,
Right?
it's Forza.
Yeah, it has to be Forza. And FIFA 2022 just, it's good, but it just feels like
It's FIFA.
it's FIFA. Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm giving it to Forza, and we talked about it on the last podcast how good Forza is. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it'll definitely go to them. Um, Next one, and I'm gonna skip some here because some of these games some of these genres we don't touch on, we don't really play. The next one I was gonna do here was best family game. So
Yeah.
it has It Takes Two, Mario Party Superstars, New Pokemon Snap, Super Mario 3D World, Wario and WarioWare. Get it together.
Yeah.
I think the majority
For me,
of these are
yeah.
Switch games.
Yeah.
I think yeah.
For me, I you know, It Takes Two would be it, but I don't really consider that a family game because it's not really. I mean, it is, but it's more of a multiplayer, co-op.
Yeah.
I would probably say Mario Party Superstars, but
Yeah, Mario Party Superstars did really good.
It Takes Two was a great game. I don't know if it
Yeah,
fits. I guess a family game.
yeah.
I don't know.
I think
I guess it could be a family
I think
game,
It Takes
but
Two will take it for me. I think I
yeah,
would give it the number one spot. It
yeah,
got on so many different lists for how good of a game it
yeah.
is,
It's great.
and I actually remember seeing an article about a uh what was she? She was like a psychologist. She would actually do like couples therapy, and she would get them to play this game together. So I
Yeah,
thought that was really interesting how much of a dynamic it really makes, like forces you to play together and talk to each other and all that stuff. So I thought it was really cool to see a game used in that way. And even then, just the gameplay for it makes a lot of sense. It's really cool. It's one of the few games where you can actually purchase one game, and then it gives you a code that you can give to someone else, and then they just put in the code and they get the like the partner demo for
yeah,
it, and then they can play it with you the full game. And I
yeah.
feel like there's not a lot of games that do that now.
That's very considerate of
Yeah.
the makers. That's like that's what holds a lot of people back from playing these games. I know I got it, and I was playing it with my soon to be brother-in-law. So
Mm.
it's kind of been like a little bit of a bonding. It is more, yeah. It is like you have to interact together and you have to make sure you work together. So it's just I don't know. It Takes Two is one of my top games of the year.
Yeah, definitely. Same here.
Yeah.
Um, Best fighting game. All right, so we got Virtual Fighter 5, Nickelodeon All Star Brawl, Melty Blood Type Lumina, Guilty Gear Strive, and Demon Slayer: The Hinokami Chronicles. What do you think about these?
I'm honest. I'm gonna be honest. I have absolutely zero clue, but I'm gonna vote for Nickelodeon All
Dude,
Star Brawl because it looks
I
hilarious, and
actually,
that's it.
yeah, I actually played a lot of these. The Demon Slayer one was actually
uh,
really cool, especially if you're into the
yeah,
show.
yeah,
But dude, Nickelodeon All Star Brawl, it took Super Smash Brothers to a different level.
yeah. That's what it
And
looked like.
I still, I mean, I'm a stand for Smash Brothers, but at the same time,
Yeah,
I think Nickelodeon All Star Brawl is like the closest that you can get to a Smash Brothers game, and it was so fun. It's so fun to play. So definitely, I think that's the one that's got to take it from me. And
yeah.
it All Star Brawl has even surprised people at competitive tournaments. People are actually like competing in
That's
it,
cool.
and it's actually got some really cool mechanics to it and combos that you can pull off that translate really well to the competitive um, scene. And that's really important for a fighting game, right? Because a lot of these fighting games, they get popular or they stay popular because of how well they do in competitive tournaments.
Yeah,
So yeah, so
like
I'm hoping they win.
yeah, me too.
Most anticipated game. This one's always weird because it's literally just based off anticipation, based
Yeah.
off the fans. So we have Elden Ring, which I've heard way too much about Elden Ring.
Yeah.
God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It doesn't even have a name yet. It's just the
Yeah.
sequel, and Starfield. What do you think?
Legend of Zelda. I
Oh,
mean,
really?
I at least I think. I mean, Zelda always just kind of blows it out of the water. So I'm not gonna bet against him. It's like betting against LeBron. But
I guess.
yeah,
I guess that's funny. I actually have God of War Ragnarok for this one.
could be.
Yeah, cause I just remember from the state of play how hyped everyone got, especially when like
Yeah.
Thor showed up, and he had like that hammer and everything, and man, just people went nuts. It was so cool to see. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with that one for now. And I mean, it could be because I'm a big time player of PlayStation games, so. But I'm
Yeah.
but
I think that's the only thing about I guess that is that a lot of people have a Switch and an Xbox or a PlayStation. But having, you have to have PlayStation to play Ragnarok. So I don't know. I just feel like this Legend of Zelda just always does well. So I'm gonna bet on them. But if you have PlayStation, God of War is probably very, very exciting.
yeah. All right. So the next one we have here is best role playing game. So we actually saw quite a few role playing games this year. Cyberpunk 2077, Monster Hunter Rise, Scarlet Nexus, Shin Megami Tensei 5, and Tales of Arise. Out of all of these, I have to go with Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
Right?
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they did obviously didn't live up to expectations, but I think that's a clear cut winner there
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
They'll at least walk away with one, maybe two awards.
Exactly. Yeah. It's gonna have a few, but with Cyberpunk, I know it had a rocky start. I know a lot of people didn't like it at the beginning, but in the end, I think it kind of lived up to its expectations after the initial release.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm most excited, or I was most excited about. So, and they've done a great job with it. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Uh, Next game was best action game. So we got Back for Blood, Chivalry 2, Deathloop, Far Cry 6, and Returnal. This one was actually kind of hard for me. Did you have one that stood out that you think is gonna win it?
I I I have one that I think is gonna win it, and I have one that I probably should win it. I probably Deathloop is probably gonna win, but Chivalry 2 probably should win. That's what I would go with.
Chivalry 2.
Either that or Returnal. Returnal, if I guess if you like that hard of a, I mean, it seems like a too difficult
Yeah,
of a game.
I
Yeah,
actually think Deathloop is gonna win.
yeah, it's probably gonna win. Deathloop is probably going to
Yeah,
win.
I think Deathloop just they're they just made such a good game. Bethesda did it again,
Yeah,
and it I Far Cry 6 was actually a second for me, um, just because it had such a good story and like the category here is action, right? It had really good action. It like the action sequences in that game felt so real, and it felt like you were actually like in it and
yeah,
that there was a lot to lose, right? So I think that's
yeah,
why Far Cry 6 was my second one, but Deathloop definitely just with story, action, new type of game mechanics, and yeah, overall I think that one was really good.
yeah. And I know it's probably the last time we're gonna talk about Back for Blood, but they really flopped on that.
Oh yeah,
Just want to say
yeah
that
they did.
because that multiplayer was absolutely horrendous, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's the last thing I'll say about that because I was really excited for that game, and it really pushed my hopes down for what they could do in the
Oh yeah.
future. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
All right. All right. So next up, we have Content Creator of the Year. And this is across all content. This is YouTube, this is Twitch, Facebook gaming, so wherever you watch your gamers. And the nominees are Dream, Fussly, Gauls, Ebi, the I don't even know how this the Gref G,
The Graph,
the Gref
yeah, the Graph G, I think.
Gref G. I mean, I don't even watch him. I don't know. Me personally, I'm going with Dream for this one actually. Right?
Yeah, yeah, it's just he's the biggest. Yeah, he had a cheating scandal thing
Oh yeah, I remember that.
there, so he had lost a lot of a lot of his fans. But
I think it helps him out
yeah,
actually.
it's
I
probably
think more
true.
people watch.
Yeah, it probably did. It definitely gave him more eyes for sure in other ways. Yeah,
Yeah, so and with Dream also, I think he's been having a lot of views on TikTok lately. So he does a lot of like just chatting stuff that actually
yeah,
does really well on TikTok. So I think that's been pretty cool to see. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, for
I'll give
sure.
it a Dream. We'll see, but
Yeah,
definitely want to give it a Dream. Next up, we have best community support. So we have Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. So best community support. I don't know which game has.
it's a tough one, man.
Yeah,
No Man's Sky won this last
last
year, if I
year. Yeah,
remember.
and they were
Uh,
really good. They like I said, they turned it around. They No
yeah,
Man's Sky was nowhere, and then they turned around just like Cyberpunk did. Like they did such a good job with actually like building a really good community now.
yeah,
No Man's Sky won it last year. They can win it again. I don't see why not. Um,
yeah. I mean, yeah, I'd go with that or Apex, I guess.
Apex. Yeah.
Just might as well. Yeah, I really don't know
I
now.
do think the Destiny 2 fan base is really close in there too. And I think they're that Destiny 2, who is it? Bungie? Is this Destiny? Yeah.
Bungie, yeah,
I think they do a really good job at communicating back to their people and everyone that's playing the game. I think they do a
yeah,
really good job with that and listening to what the gamers want and what they're saying they need. So Destiny 2, I think I'm gonna give it a Destiny 2 this year because I know they've
yeah,
had some pretty good DLCs that went really well, and just they've been bringing out more and more content. I mean, this game's old. This game's been around forever, and the fact that they're still around and they have a strong fan base, I think it's a testament to how good community support they actually do have.
yeah. I agree.
Yeah. The next category we have here, I actually want to touch on this one for a bit, is best mobile game. So there's Fantasian, Genshin Impact, League of Legends Wild Rift, Marvel Future Revolution, and Pokemon Unite. So
Yeah,
I've actually played all of these on mobile and on my iPad too. And honestly, I'm kind of stuck between Wild Rift and Pokemon Unite here.
yeah. Those are the two that caught my eye as
Yeah,
well.
the two
I'm
MOBAs.
gonna probably yeah, I'm probably gonna go with Wild Rift.
Oh yeah,
Um, myself, yeah. I like Pokemon Unite. There's just Wild Rift was just so simple in my eyes. They really brought League. They simplified it in a way that I thought that was perfect for mobile.
yeah.
So
I think that's what kind of attracted me to both of these games, so Wild Rift and Pokemon Unite.
yeah,
They simplified what a MOBA was, and you didn't have to have a keyboard to be able to play it. And I
yeah,
think they did such a good job with it. I think with Wild Rift, they did a really good job of taking League and simplifying it. But I think Pokemon Unite just came out with a whole different type of game that is still a MOBA,
yeah,
but it's just different like game objectives and with all that, I know that in another podcast we were talking about Pokemon Unite and how it was very pay to win. And when it
yeah,
first came out, it was when it was on Switch. When it was solely on Switch, it was very pay to win. But they've kind of eliminated some of that, and right now it's actually in a really good state. I think right now they just need to cool it with how many Pokemon they keep adding. Like every couple of weeks, they're adding new.
too
Yeah,
fast.
they're adding more characters. I think they just
Yeah,
need to chill with that for a minute. But other than that, I think it's in a really good state right now. And like my friend, he just bought a Switch, and he asked me, he's like, "Hey, what game should I buy for this?" And one of the games I recommended to him, aside from like Metroid Dread and like the obvious ones, right, was
Yeah.
Pokemon Unite. I was like, dude, just put it on your Switch. It's free. You can play it at your own pace, and he's not familiar with the MOBA genre, so I think this is a perfect way for him to start playing it. So I know that's on the Switch, but even as a mobile game, just on your iPad, on your tablet, or on your phone, it plays really well. And the same with Wild Rift. I'm gonna give it a Pokemon Unite just because I've logged way more hours into it, and
Yeah.
and honestly, playing Wild Rift just makes me want to play normal League of Legends.
Yeah. Yeah. It yeah, they're both good options, and I don't think if either win, you can't really like say the other one should have won over the other one. It's
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
either one that wins, I think, is not a bad
Yeah.
call.
Marvel Future Revolution is good. It just does callbacks to what we're seeing in the movie theaters, honestly, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what it does. And Genshin Impact's been around for a minute too. Genshin Impact is
Yeah.
just a game that I can't play on mobile though. Like I'll play it on the PlayStation once in a while, but I can't bring myself to play it for a long time on mobile.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Makes sense.
That might just be
Yeah.
me. Uh, Next game we want to talk about is best audio design. So I like to talk about audio design and music, just because it's obviously stuff that I'm super interested in. But for specifically wanting to talk about audio design for one of these games, but the nominees were Deathloop, Forza Horizon 5, Ratchet and Clank, Resident Evil Village, and Returnal.
Yeah.
The game I wanted to talk about was actually Forza, because
Yeah.
Forza, they they did such good audio design with this game, to the to like you asked to what end. It's like every single car has a unique sound depending on the parts and stuff that you switch out on it. And I think that
Yeah.
is so cool. And the people behind it actually do like a lot of research to find out, okay, this is what the engine should be sounding at this speed, if you're like what gear you're in, and all that. And dude, they like put a lot of thought into that design of this game. And we know they put a lot of thought into the actual like graphics of the game, but the audio design of it is like next level. And I don't know if you've played this game with like nice
Yeah.
headphones on. It just sounds awesome. Like you hear stuff like
Yeah.
whooshing
It's
by.
immersive.
Yeah, it's very immersive. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that's the perfect description for it. So obviously that's the one
No,
I'd give it
I
to.
I agree. Forza, like you said, it just they put a lot of thought into it. They how you know how the tires are hitting the dirt,
Yep.
how it's hitting the rocks, just all that stuff. Like you can just feel it. Like you said, when you have headphones on,
Hmm.
it's just they really put a lot of thought into everything.
Yeah.
If any other I guess would win, I would probably say Deathloop too. Deathloop or Forza. Those would probably be the two that I would say.
Yeah.
But Forza's probably gonna take it.
Yeah. And then kind of in the same vein, I want to talk about best score of music. So there's Cyberpunk, Deathloop, Near Replicant, Marvel's Guardian of the Galaxy, and The Artful Escape. For this one, I actually want to give it to Deathloop, just because of the concept of the game itself. Over like you die, you loop back, and you keep playing through. They actually take the music, and the music almost has like there's certain cues that happen at certain points on the map that you're playing that actually show you what's happening next. And the music itself is clues into, oh yeah, I was here already. This is what happened at this point. And so I think with Deathloop, the score and music, aside from being like really good, like like well crafted music, it actually adds to the gameplay itself. So I think that's why I would go with Deathloop for best score and music.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I'd go with that or Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk, yeah.
Cyberpunk's probably another one that I guess can do well.
Cyberpunk had like motion picture music in it. It was like
Yeah,
super well made, and like they had all kinds of people doing like conductors and whole orchestras and stuff. So that, yeah, Cyberpunk was, it had a really good score. It definitely did.
yeah,
Best art direction. The nominees are Deathloop, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank, or The Artful Escape. Best art direction. What do you think?
I'd probably go with Kina.
Kina? Okay.
Either Kina or Deathloop.
Oh, really?
But I'd probably Kina. I'd probably say Kina.
Uh,
I just thought it was just a beautiful game.
yeah. Yeah. No, dude, I actually would give it to Psychonauts too. I think Psychonauts it's a really good game. First of all, it definitely did justice to Psychonauts 1. And I know there's some people that were upset at parts of the game thinking that it was like virtue signaling and stuff like that. There's like a part of the game where there's like a gay couple and you're like participating in their wedding, and I guess people got upset at that and like, my kids are playing this game. At the same time, I'm like, dude, it's reality, right? It's that's what these games are meant to do. They're supposed to show you reality. If anything, your kid might see that, and then you can just have a talk with them, explain what that is. Like it kind of opens the door to talk about these things. And yeah, so I know people had some issues with Psychonauts 2 in that regard, but even then, I think from an artistic standpoint, it does so well. It does so well at and obviously it took the art direction from Psychonauts 1, but it improved upon that, right? It kept the same style, but the graphics were like next level, and even though it's like cartoony, I think it's just so unique, and I've never seen another game like it. So that's why I would give it to Psychonauts 2.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Next one, we can take some time on this one is best ongoing game. So we have Apex Legends, Call of Duty Warzone, Final Fantasy 14, Genshin Impact, or Fortnite. Fortnite's still in there, man.
They're not going away. Yeah, at all.
Or Apex.
Yeah, I mean, Apex is the one that's getting. I think Apex is the one that's getting better on that list. A lot of those games are just not hanging on a thread, but they have their niche.
Yeah.
And Apex just really, it's a safe game, I guess, right now. Like if you're ever like, hey, what do I feel like playing? You go to Apex. Like you play a few games at Apex. The ranked is just, it's pristine, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So you can always just kind of rely on Apex, I guess.
Yeah.
The rest of those are like, play it here or there.
Yeah. I don't think I've touched
that, but
I haven't touched Warzone in forever.
I play with my friends. It's the same old Warzone. That's why I said it.
Yeah.
I haven't played the new map. There's a new map out.
Do they have a competitive yet?
I don't. No, they don't have a competitive. That's at this point. Why even bring it out? Just stop. Just don't
just
even
come out with the next
who's
BR.
Who's gonna want to play
with
just come out with a new game, because they don't. There's no point at this point. Everyone's kind of over it already. So.
I don't know. That's part of the reason
I haven't played it. So
that's part of the reason I quit Warzone. I mean, I especially me with like a family and like more responsibilities now. I only get to play games like 2-3 times a week, right? And I just want to be able to sit down and play for 2-3 hours, just play a decent game. I think Apex Legends lends more to that, where I can just pull up a game, play, and I'd still do well, do okay, and even with like the other competition in there, like they have their own competitive mode, so the super competitive people are going to be playing on that mode, and I can just play like these other events and stuff. And same with Fortnite. I'll give it to Fortnite, where they've done pretty good in that regards as well. But man, with Warzone, I tried. I would jump into a game and just get decimated by these sweats, man. It's hard with Warzone because you got people that are playing all the time and that are trying to get. I mean, the whole point is to try to get first, right? But sometimes I'm just trying to play with friends and have fun, and Warzone doesn't lend itself to that. It really doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the difference of not having competitive is that you're gonna have competitive people in every single lobby, and it's going to hurt your casual gameplay. There's no casual in Warzone. It's 100% or nothing. There's just sweat trying to insta kill you. The 5 seconds to just get one kill that doesn't count towards anything. And Fortnite is just, the skill gap is too big in that game that if you stop playing for a week, you probably will never catch up in your life. So Apex is that easy balance where you can just jump on and you're like, hey, I could still do something, You don't have to play it 24/7 in order to be good at it. It's your normal shooter with a bit of attachments and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Just good movement, good mechanics, and that's all you need.
definitely. Up next, I guess a lot of these fall into this one is best multiplayer. So we got Back for Blood, Knockout City, It Takes Two, Monster Hunter Rise, New World, and Valheim.
It's actually a tough one.
This is a tough one. I really,
I
I
think
really liked
on
Knockout
there that
City. I would say I really liked
and Knockout City was
it. It was
fun,
fun, but man, it was
but
one of those games that didn't do well because you had to pay for it on release.
yeah,
Now it's free again. It's like I think it was on
yeah,
PlayStation Plus last month for free,
yeah,
like
for Game
for
Pass.
download, and like I downloaded it. I remember playing. I if you guys caught our stream, like we actually did a Quickscope stream on Twitch where we were playing the game live. So and that was really fun. But other than that, I don't think it can compete with like New World or It Takes Two or Valheim. Really.
Yeah, those are the three you just said right there are the ones. I thought New World was good, but not good enough to beat It Takes Two or
Oh
Valheim
really?
in my eyes.
Okay.
Valheim is probably gonna win it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't think, but Valheim is a very very popular game,
Yeah.
and I like Valheim. I'm a Minecraft player, so Valheim is kind of that mix between like Minecraft and like some kind of like action,
Yeah.
in the game. So
And
Valheim
Valheim is meant to be played multiplayer. Like that's how it's
yeah.
intended to be played. So under this category, yeah, that one makes the most sense to me to win it. Yeah, again,
Yeah,
it takes two is
that
meant
or
for it as well, but I would consider It Take Two to be like a different type of game, not necessarily multiplayer.
the co-op.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, but I mean, It Takes Two could possibly win because of just how big It Takes Two was. It Takes Two is, I mean, it's gonna win most of these, if not um, all of these
yeah,
top game awards. So
yeah, probably all of them.
yeah,
All right. Next up, I have best narrative, so the best story,
yeah.
and we got Deathloop, It Takes Two, Life is Strange, True Colors, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and Psychonauts 2. So, best story.
I love It Takes Two, but I'm I don't know. Deathloop and It Takes Two. People are probably gonna say Psychonauts, like you said too,
Yeah,
but
Psychonauts did
I
really
don't know.
well.
It Takes Two is just that game was it was I don't know. It was too good.
Yeah.
I mean, and I Deathloop as well. I guess I'll probably say It Takes Two on that one.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go far left field and say Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. That
Really?
story was so immersive. It's really cool, and it's top of a lot
Yeah.
of people's mind, right? The Marvel stories, and obviously
Yeah.
me, I'm a huge comic book nerd, and like I'm on the Heroes and Mutants podcast and all that too. So I think out of these games, that's the one that really like I really want to know what's gonna happen next in this story. I think with Deathloop, I think it was really cool how they gave the story like throughout the loops that you have to keep doing. You have to like
Yeah.
listen to different people and kind of piece everything together. I think, and whereas Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is more you're like straightforward. All right, you single player game, you play this, and then you move to the next piece, and
Yeah.
kind of like Psychonauts, it's along the same lines too. Uh, so I really want Guardians of the Galaxy to win. I don't think they're gonna win, but they're my underdog in this one. I do think because of what I said that Deathloop is gonna win best narrative,
Yeah.
just because of
Yeah. They probably will.
how the story comes about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think Deathloop is a great option as
Mm.
well. And like you said, it's not overpowering the restarting every day.
Yep.
It's not like you feel like you lost, I guess, because you're still kind of moving on with all that stuff that you. It's like saved. It's like a save game. Like you
Yeah.
just saved your game, right? So it definitely doesn't. We did a good job of the narrative in the game and how you have to, like you said, piece things together. Just it's not overpowering to where you feel. Um, yeah, I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it, but yeah,
Yeah. It makes
can you
sense.
explain it
Yeah.
well?
All right. Next, nominees we got, or next category is best game direction. So game direction. Nominees are Deathloop, It Takes Two, Returnal, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart. We're seeing a trend here.
Yeah, pretty much the same games. Yeah.
Yeah, once you start getting to the top of these, it's the same games over and over, right? When it comes to
Yeah.
to narratives, direction, all that stuff. It all comes
Yeah.
together for Game of the Year eventually. But yeah, best game direction. So I guess who did the best like development on it, and who had the best like idea of where the game should go. For this, I'm gonna go with Deathloop. I just think Bethesda killed it, and
Yeah.
with Deathloop, they knew what they were coming in with. They knew what their plan was the whole time, and they really executed on it. Right, like they
Yeah.
gave you almost like a dungeon crawler mixed with first person shooter, and it was just a really well made game in my opinion, and in the direction that they wanted to go, and I don't think any at any point like in even like in the rumors, but in the commercials and in everything that they were giving us, I think from the very beginning it was very clear what kind of game this was going to be,
Yeah.
and I don't think they ever had to like pivot or change direction. So I think
Yeah.
they like knew what they wanted, they went for it, and they executed really well.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Deathloop is probably gonna win. Like I said, I love It Takes Two. Uh, but Deathloop, it's honestly those two are probably gonna be neck and neck on the
Yeah,
all three. So I mean, I think you can't go wrong with any. But I'll go with It Takes Two. I felt like it just was just so perfectly made. It was the flow was perfect. It just
yeah.
it really it was so immersive with the environment of being tiny and I
Yeah.
don't know. They just did such a good job.
I will give a shout out to Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I think that game did really well, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. I Because Ratchet and Clank is the series, I just always kind of think it's the same thing over and over, but they actually
Yeah,
they do different things here, and it wasn't just like a copy paste of their older games. So Ratchet and Clank deserves to be here, definitely
yeah,
in
and
my
I heard
opinion.
Returnal was pretty good
Yeah,
too. I never played it, but I watched a bit of it. It just looked really tough
yeah,
to play if you didn't know what you're doing.
yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, it's the hardest thing.
All right, and last but not least, we have our nominees for Game of the Year. And the nominees are Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village.
Yeah.
Man, this is hard.
So it is tough. All those games are pretty good, and I mean, Metroid Dread. I mean, where has it been besides on Game of the
I
Year?
know
I guess,
it
but
wasn't in any
it's
other category, but it's on Game of the
and
Year.
yeah, I mean, no, but I mean, it deserves to be
Oh
up there.
yeah,
But
definitely.
where is it on the other ones? Yeah, I guess because it's just one layered, right? It's like just it's simple, and I mean,
You know what?
it's nothing new. I
I was
guess.
kind of salty that it wasn't under best narrative, just because
Yeah,
kind of what I said about Deathloop, where the story like pieces together over time. Metroid Dread does that too,
yeah,
because it's a Castlevania or Metroidvania type game. You like
yeah,
move through different locations, and you have to come back, circle back once you get power ups. You learn new things about the environment you in, and it's yeah. I was disappointed it wasn't under best narrative, but it's actually
yeah,
my choice for Game of the Year, and
yeah. I was gonna
I
say,
think
I think it's
I had the most fun playing that game.
yeah. I think that's a good choice. It's probably gonna be Deathloop though, but I mean, yeah, Metroid Dread It Takes Two,
Yeah.
Deathloop.
Don't forget that.
Even Resident Evil Village might get
Yeah,
some
I was gonna say don't
too.
forget that a lot of the votes. Yes, a lot of the votes are from critics, but there's a small percentage that are actually from people. Like you can go online still to this day and
Yeah,
vote for these. And I think there's a lot of Resident Evil Village fans and
yeah,
Psychonaut 2 fans. I've seen a lot of like message boards and people online just talking about Psychonauts 2 and how much they love this game. And I haven't seen that much for or as much talk for like Deathloop or It Takes Two. Um, even then, I think there are more Psychonauts 2 fans that are
Yeah.
vocal about it, but I know a lot of people played Deathloop, and I haven't heard a single person that played it that didn't like it.
I think why that happens is because Psychonauts 2 fans probably have to convince other people that their game is better.
Yeah,
Deathloop and It Takes Two don't really have to do any convincing. They just people who played it
it just
know that
is.
they're just good, right?
Yeah,
It's like yeah,
I
that's probably
I
what it
I mean,
is.
for me, Metroid Dread, it just I have it as just barely beating out Deathloop, but I also think
Yeah,
that's because ever since I finished Hollow Knight, I haven't had a good enough Castlevania game to play, and this one just it made so much sense. I know I talked about it on the previous podcast already, but it like the whole story of it, how like Samus loses her powers, it makes sense. It's not just for the sake of the game, something dumb happens and she loses all her powers and she needs to go get it back. It makes a lot of sense. And the different suits that she can get along the way, and even the gameplay itself, like some of it's like really like chilling. Like some of those aliens that you're fighting, it just
yeah.
gets really crazy. So for me, Metroid Dread, I just think it even had like the most suspense for me. It had more suspense than Resident Evil Village did for me personally, and so I really like that game. Metroid Dread is definitely top of my list for this year, and I hope it wins Game of the Year.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it does. I really wouldn't be surprised if any of these, besides maybe Ratchet
I'd
and
be
Clank, I
I'd
guess
be
it could
surprised if
still.
Ratchet and Clank won Game of the Year.
Yeah, that's probably the only one that I'd be surprised. But it's probably gonna be Deathloop, It Takes Two, or Metroid. But it's probably Deathloop or Metroid.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see.
It's actually pretty close this year. There's a lot of
It's a
good
close one.
games.
Yeah,
Nothing spectacular.
yeah,
Like just blow out everything out of the water. But everything was pretty decent. So
yeah. Like The Last of Us Part 2 did, where it just won all the awards.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah,
There was a lot of good games this year.
yeah. So yeah, that wraps up all the nominees for the Game Awards. Remember to catch the Game Awards. I think it's on December 7th, so it's coming up here.
Ninth, I think.
7th or 9th. Oh, I think
Ninth.
you have until the 7th to vote online. I think that's
Yeah.
what it is. So yeah, make sure to go and vote, and yeah, check that out. Um, that wraps up our podcast. Like always, we're gonna end with our recommendations for the week. Um, I am going to recommend. What am I gonna? Do you know what you're gonna recommend?
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but
Okay.
I'm gonna recommend a Monopoly actually on the phone,
What?
mobile game. I know it's Christmas time
Yeah.
and it's Thanksgiving and everyone's trying to do family games. If you're ever at home or with family and you want to play Monopoly, but you don't want to bring out the whole board, playing Monopoly on the phone. I think it costs money. I think it's like $5, something like
Okay.
that. But it's pretty well made and it's actually a lot of fun on the phone. The games are quicker.
Nice.
I mean, they can last a while. Monopoly, you might lose, friendships or family, but it's okay. It's Monopoly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. It kind of actually gave me an idea. So I recommend if you have a Switch, to get 101 games. It's actually a game and it has like all the most popular games. It has chess, it has checkers, it has card games, it has Yahtzee, and I actually over the holidays I played with my dad. He likes playing billiards. He likes playing pool, and we
Yeah.
grew up with a pool table. And I was like, "Hey, do you want to just play on the Switch?" And he really liked it. And we
That's
were
cool.
playing on the Switch for a while, and we love playing Yahtzee. It has Sorry. It has literally 100+ games, and it's really fun to play. And so especially yeah, like you were saying, like with family during the holidays, definitely check that one out. It's usually on sale because it came out when the Switch first came out, so it's not expensive anymore. But that's definitely one of the games that I recommend just to have if you have a Switch, just because it has so many different games that you can play. And yeah, that was really fun. So yeah, that's
Yeah, the age of board games, the physical board games are over.
yep. It's all virtual board games
It's all
now.
digital now, and they do a pretty good job. So
It's fun, man. Especially so I mentioned Yahtzee because I like playing that, and my wife
yeah,
likes too. And you don't have to like write everything down, like your whole score. It's
yeah,
up there. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah, so it's really cool. And the cool thing about that one that game itself is that if you don't know how to play a game, it actually has tutorials, so it'll show you how to play.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to play mahjong, that like Chinese game with the Chinese tiles, and I
Yeah.
actually just learned how to play mahjong just on the
That's
Switch.
cool.
Yeah, and like I have friends who have mahjong boards, and we went to go play with them. I was like, oh, okay, I know how to play this now, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
So you got your weird Hispanic dude over here playing mahjong. but but yeah,
Hey, that's
I think it's
good
really
to
cool.
find
I think
out.
it's really cool that you can use video games to learn like these other cultural games as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really fun. So yeah, that's my recommendation. All right. So I just want to thank everyone for joining us. Again, we are Quickscope Podcast. Make sure to check out all the other podcasts we have. We have Hood and May, Heroes of Mutants, Sports Dogs. Check them all out. I think Faded Theory came back. They just dropped a new episode. Those guys are funny. Those guys are hilarious. But yeah, make sure to check out all our other podcasts under Higher Passion. And GG's. Have a good one.
GG's, everybody.